Dopamine, that tiny chemical in your brain that makes you crave the easy stuff, like scrolling through endless reels and eating junk food, all while you ignore the important goals you set for yourself. But what if you could reprogram your dopamine so that you actually crave the hard things that push you to grow? In today's video, I'll show you 5 tips rooted in ancient wisdom that could help you break free from distractions and finally start doing what matters. Miss this, and you might keep scrolling away your life. Watch till the end, and you'll learn how to transform your habits, starting right now. Tip number 1, recognize your current dopamine patterns. Gohan lies awake in his bed. It's 11 p.m., and he knows he should be sleeping. The glow of his phone lights up the darkness, painting his face in soft blue. He scrolls through video after video, searching for a quick spark of excitement, a funny meme, a shocking headline, maybe a dance reel, anything to feel alive for a few seconds. His thumb moves without pause. His mind buzzes with small bursts of joy. Then, a black screen appears. A calm, echoing voice speaks. "Look at you spending hours on this phone. You know what you want in life, but you keep hiding. Turn off your phone. Rest. Tomorrow, take the first step. It's the hardest step you'll ever take." Gohan feels a jolt, as if the voice is talking right to him. He remembers the words of Marcus Aurelius. "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Those words cling to his thoughts. They force him to see his actions in a new light. He realizes he's chasing small hits of pleasure, also known as cheap dopamine. Each scroll, each click, each late-night snack, they give him tiny highs that vanish almost as soon as they appear. He sighs. A sense of guilt settles in, but there's also a glimmer of hope. Recognizing you have a problem is the first step toward a solution. And that's what tip number 1 is all about. Recognize your current dopamine patterns. Ask yourself, how often do you check your phone out of habit? How many times do you eat junk food when you're not hungry? These quick fix moments feel good for a moment, but they pull you away from real goals. They drain your focus bit by bit. Here's a simple action you can take. Keep a mini log for one day. Write down each time you pick up your phone or each time you grab a sugary snack. Be honest, no need to hide the truth. This log is for your eyes only. By the end of the day, look at your notes, see the patterns, notice the triggers. This habit of tracking might feel odd at first, but once you see those moments laid out on paper, you'll understand how often you give in to these quick bursts of dopamine. That awareness can spark change. With clarity, you can start replacing those cheap thrills with actions that actually move you closer to your dreams. Tip number 2, start with small, exciting goals. Gohan wakes up with an unusual spark in his eyes. The memory of that late-night reel still echoes in his mind. He sits at his desk, a blank page in front of him. Taking a deep breath, he begins writing his dreams. Start a YouTube channel, learn to make money online, read more philosophy and self-improvement, and join a jiu-jitsu class. Each line feels huge, almost too big to handle, but there's a thrill each time his pen hits the paper. For the next 7 days, Gohan pours his energy into these new pursuits. He gets out of bed earlier than usual. He reads a chapter of a business book while eating breakfast. He watches tutorials on how to film and edit videos for YouTube. He even signs up for a beginner's jiu-jitsu class at a local gym. Each small step lights another spark, adding fuel to his newfound determination. By the end of the week, his friend stops by and can't help but notice the change. "Wow, Gohan, you're actually doing it all," his friend exclaims. "It's like you flipped a switch." Gohan smiles, feeling a gentle rush of pride. He isn't scrolling mindlessly at night. He isn't craving junk food the way he used to. Instead, he's filling his time with learning and practice, and every mini achievement sends a positive jolt of dopamine through his system. That's the power of small, exciting goals. Instead of aiming to master everything at once, you aim for tiny wins that still feel rewarding. A short reading session, a quick burst of creativity, a single class that challenges you to grow. Each success tells your brain, "This feels good, let's keep going." And so, you train yourself to crave progress, not just quick fixes. If you want to tap into this same energy, here's your action step. Pick 1 or 2 goals that truly excite you. These goals should be big enough to be motivating but still broken down into baby steps. Maybe you'll read 10 pages of a book each day. Maybe you'll practice jujitsu twice a week. Maybe you'll post your first YouTube video next month. Keep the process manageable. Don't overwhelm yourself. When you see small successes stack up, your motivation grows. You realize you're on a path that leads to bigger milestones. And the dopamine hits you get from each tiny accomplishment fuel your desire to push even further. Before long, you'll see that every big dream starts with just a few small wins. Embrace them, celebrate them, and watch how they guide you toward the future you truly want. Tip number 3, guard against old habits and social pressures. Gohan's new routine soared for an entire week. He woke up early, read his books, and practiced jujitsu moves in his spare time. Then came a tempting party invitation. His friends messaged him, "Come on, it's just one night. You've been doing great. Let yourself have some fun." Gohan thought, maybe they're right. One night won't hurt, but it did. He stayed out past sunrise, binge drinking and chowing down on greasy snacks. By the time he got home, his head was pounding and his stomach felt like a tornado. He dragged himself to bed only to spend the next 3 days recovering, drinking sugary drinks, scrolling aimlessly through social media, and feeling too drained to pick up a book or think about jujitsu. On the 3rd morning, he stood in front of the mirror. New acne dotted his face. He noticed extra pounds around his waist. His eyes looked tired and dull. His heart sank. I was doing so well. Did I throw it all away in one night? The question stung, but he already knew the answer. He hadn't just gone to a party. He'd let his guard down and his old habits rush back in. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you fill your days with negativity or temptation, you end up soaked in it. Eastern teachings echo this idea. You become like the environment that surrounds you. If you hang out with friends who live for late-night parties, you might lose sight of your goals. If your phone never leaves your hand, you'll scroll instead of grow. That's where tip number 3 comes in. Guard against old habits and social pressures. Protect your mind and body by setting clear boundaries. If certain friends always derail you, limit your time with them or invite them to do healthier activities instead. If your phone keeps you up, place it out of reach at bedtime. If your fridge is full of junk, swap in healthier options. Identify one toxic trigger right now. Maybe it's late-night phone use, endless parties, or a pile of junk snacks in the pantry. Reduce or replace it. If you can't avoid a party, go for a shorter time and drink water instead of alcohol. If you can't trust yourself with social media, log out an hour before bed. Small changes like these can protect the progress you've made. When you safeguard your environment, you shield yourself from slipping back, and that, in turn, helps you keep moving forward on the path to a better life. Tip number 4, rewire your environment for growth. Gohan surveys his room in silence. Clothes lie crumpled on the floor. Old soda cans clutter his desk. Half-finished snacks fill the corners of his shelves. He frowns, feeling the mess weigh on his mind like a heavy fog. Finally, he decides he's had enough. He starts by picking up every stray item. Shirts go into the closet, wrappers into the trash. He wipes down the surfaces and flings open the window to let fresh air in. Next, he tackles his kitchen. Sugary drinks go out. Fresh produce goes in. He places a big pitcher of water on the table where it's easy to see. As he stands there, taking in the new order, he whispers, "It's a small start, but maybe that's all I need right now." In ancient Japan, samurai believed a clear dojo led to a clear mind. They kept their training halls tidy, knowing that clutter could distract the spirit. Gohan applies the same principle. By cleaning his environment, he guides his attention toward better habits. If his phone is charging far from his bed, he's less tempted to scroll. If his fridge offers fruit instead of junk, he chooses an apple over a bag of chips. Each good choice brings a quiet rush of satisfaction, less intense than a sugary spike, but far more lasting. A few days later, Gohan's phone buzzes with a party invite. This time he pauses. He pictures the loud music, the cheap drinks. The next morning regrets. Then he types a polite reply. Thanks, but I'll pass tonight. When he sets the phone down, a small wave of pride washes over him. It's a delayed dopamine hit, more subtle but stronger in its effect. That's the heart of tip number 4. Rewire your environment for growth. Remove the junk food. Cut back on screen time. Place reminders of your goals, like a vision board or a simple note, to keep your mind focused. Think of your room and your kitchen as your modern dojo. Spend 30 minutes today reorganizing your space. Throw out or hide what tempts you. Set a water bottle on your desk. Keep a book by your bed. Or stick a motivational quote on your mirror. Small changes add up. They gently nudge you to build habits that serve you instead of habits that steal your potential. Tip number 5. Delayed gratification and consistency. 6 months have passed. Gohan stands in front of his bathroom mirror, looking at a version of himself he barely recognizes. He's leaner, stronger, and more sure of himself. A row of books lines his desk, titles on philosophy, business, self-improvement, and even a few on video production. He's been posting short videos online, slowly learning what his audience likes. He still doesn't have millions of subscribers, but he's proud of the small community he's building. At the dojo, 2 fresh stripes wrap around his white belt. He's far from earning a black belt, yet those stripes shine like trophies for his hard work. He smiles, recalling a Zen saying he read recently, "Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water." At first, it felt strange. Why would someone who finds wisdom do the same tasks as before? Then it clicked. Growth isn't a magical transformation where life suddenly becomes easy. Instead, it's a process of doing ordinary tasks with a new mindset. Gohan now approaches his training, reading, and daily chores with more patience and purpose. He also remembers a Stoic idea that success isn't about one big win. It's the sum of small efforts repeated every single day. He's discovered something valuable, the power of delayed gratification. For so long, he chased quick hits of dopamine, fast food, mindless scrolling, late-night parties. All those things felt good in the moment, but they didn't bring lasting joy. The key is this: stay on the path, even when you don't see instant results. Those moments when you want to quit are the moments when you need to push just a little further. Eventually, your brain will learn to crave the effort itself, not just the outcome. Here's a simple action you can try. Pick one long-term habit you want to build, maybe reading 10 minutes each day or training a skill 3 times a week. Commit to doing it for at least 30 days. Track how you feel before, during, and after each session. Notice the small improvements. Pay attention to how your mindset shifts. In time, your dopamine will start to thrive on effort rather than easy pleasures, and you'll see real, lasting progress unfold in front of you. Real change begins with one small choice, then another and another. Over time, those choices add up to a life of purpose and progress. If you found this video helpful, check out my other videos on discipline and mindset. You can also visit my Amazon shop page for a list of books that dive deeper into these ideas.